This is where our children graduated from elementary school. The school was built at the same time that our house was built up here in the neighborhood. It's been here for about 30 years now, 29, 30 years. It's shuttered for the next few weeks because of the coronavirus pandemic. Never in a million years did I imagine that the entire district would be shuttered, that little Ben Franklin Elementary, where our kids went to school, would be shuttered. It just didn't seem possible. We came up here to the nice neighborhood up on the hill where we could have nice houses and nice schools and enjoy all of these things that were so nice. And yet even still, life invades no matter where you move to. It doesn't matter what part of the country you live in. It doesn't matter what part of the world you live in. There's no toilet paper in your store right now. And it's got to make you wonder just a little bit what a country's full of if when desperate moments come, the first thing they go for is toilet paper. It worries me just a little bit. I've been making one simple promise to people lately. It's this. We're going to make it through this storm. I promise. People look at me and they say, how do you know we're going to make it through it? I taught our daughter to drive right here on this street. I remember it so well in my little Honda Civic hatchback. Remember the first night I let her go out with friends. She was 16 years old. I said, honey, don't worry. Everything's going to be okay. You're a great driver. She drove out and she got in an accident. She hit a parked car. We were having a party, a group from friends from the church that night. She had to come home and tell me about it when everyone was there on her first night out with friends in the car, that she had hit another car, had an accident. Now, because I told Julia everything was going to be okay every time she got in the car, didn't mean I didn't tell her to put on a seatbelt. Didn't mean I didn't tell her to drive carefully. I did. And it also didn't mean that I haven't sat at the side of the road and held people as they died in my arms from automobile accidents. I have. I know that horrible things can happen. But because horrible things can happen, doesn't mean that's what I'm going to be full of. I'm going to be full of hope. And when I send my children out into the world, I'm going to tell them everything's going to be okay. Heartbreak does enter our lives. Horrible things do happen. And little Ben Franklin is shuttered, unimaginably so, along with schools all across the nation, and children are nervous and don't know what to think. And quite frankly, we're not addressing their needs and their trauma appropriately right now. I posted a little video on my Facebook and at Central Community's Facebook that my good friend Sue Badu made that I'd like you to watch. It's just her. She's a trauma expert that I talked with her last night, and she agreed to make it just overnight, telling parents and educators how to talk with their children. Watch it. There's so much to be. She's written books on this. She's traveled the world. She's an internationally known speaker on this. Learn from this. But don't be filled with fear of the unknown. Just like when you get on the freeway, just like when Julie drove that car that first night, bad things can happen. Just like when we sent our kids off here, our kids were one of the many generations that graduated without any of this ever happening. In fact, our daughter now is an educator in the district and had to help close the school yesterday. All of that can and does happen in the world. Even still, we get to choose what we're full of. I'm full of hope. I'm not worried about the toilet paper shortage. I lived in a cave on a little island in the middle of the Mediterranean Ocean for a period of my life. No one ever asked me about toilet paper. I want you to know, no toilet paper on caves, on islands. Not worried. Not worried one little bit. Friends, there are going to be some hard days out ahead. There are going to be some people who get sick. And I don't doubt for a second that there will be many more that will die, which breaks my heart. We can go into this being filled with hope, hope for today, and hope for the life yet to come, being full of what everyone's trying to wipe away so desperately. We get to choose. When we choose hope, we step away from a life of mediocrity and we step into the miracle. Don't be overwhelmed with the panic. Step into hope today. Be filled with hope today. If you buy a lot of toilet paper, give some of it to a neighbor, that elderly neighbor you never see. Stop by a friend if you buy a lot of food, make a meal for them. Be filled with hope. It's how we'll make it through this storm. We're going to, I promise.